Dozens of American troops were badly injured. Several were killed by Iran a couple of days ago. Biden says we know who did it, Iran. We have a response ready to go, but we're keeping it a secret. Is it going to remain a secret forever? You know, I'm shocked that Americans were killed over the past week in Jordan. Almost 4 dozen were very injured by an attack on an American compound there from Iran. And according to statements even coming out of our federal government, there's no doubt who did it, i.e. Iran. And the whole world is watching us accept a declaration of war and not respond. I've asked a number of people what Russia would have done if that was a Russian base, what China would have done if that was a Chinese base. Let's start off with that. What would you imagine Putin's response would have been had his base gotten hit by an enemy that hadn't declared war, but this sure looks like a declaration of war?
Well, I actually might look to a couple of American presidents. Let's start with President Ronald Reagan. And when the Iranian regime threatened ships, U.S. naval ships in the Persian Gulf, President Reagan sent the Iranian Navy to the bottom of the Persian Gulf. And then we can look at, of course, President Trump. And when he realized through information and intelligence that the Iranian Quds Force, an element of the IRGC, Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, was not only responsible for attacks through proxies that it controls against Americans and American personnel, service personnel, but also that it was planning attacks, imminent attacks against our American embassy in Baghdad in Iraq. Qasem Soleimani was no more. It wasn't, well, a week of what should we do? We're gathering options. And here's the thing. The statement from the White House is, well, we can't say that Iran was directly responsible, but we know that it supplies and arms and backs its Shiite terror proxies. You know, I don't know that I've seen yet anywhere exactly where that drone came from that struck that base of ours in the northeastern part of Jordan. It's in a part of the northeastern Jordan territory that borders on both Syria and Iraq. It's a place where the three borders come together, in other words. We've heard mention of one of the Iranian Shiite proxies called Kataib Hezbollah that operates out of Iraq, but none has yet claimed responsibility, nor has the White House actually pinpointed responsibility. It didn't come from Iran. It came from one of the proxy Shiite militias.
So what does it mean when Joe Biden says, we know who did it, and we've decided on what we're going to do? Mm-hmm. We haven't done it yet, and we're going to keep it a secret. For how long, nobody knows, and what it's going to be, nobody knows, and is it going to be enough of a response, nobody knows. Are we really going to do something?
You know, we may, but again, give them enough warning that, you know, all the personnel from the Quds Force or the IRGC, or even the Hashd-e-Shaabi, those Shiite terror militias under the Quds Force command in Iraq, you know, can all scramble to safety and security. And then maybe they'll hit a couple of empty warehouses or maybe even a launch site here or there. But that's not sufficient. And the point is that we have lost deterrence. We've completely lost deterrence against Iran and against its use, its targeting of terror proxies against Americans. It no longer fears us, no longer respects us, and neither does anybody else. That's a very dangerous place to be.
If there is no intimidation, the value of our armed forces overseas has become almost worthless, as far as I'm concerned.